Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We have been doing this series of planets which pass through the Nakshatras of other planets. We have already done many of the planets placed in the Nakshatras of other planets so far, like Rahu, Saturn, Ketu and so on. Today we will be doing the placement of Jupiter in the Nakshatras of other planets and seeing how those manifestations will be, how certain probabilities will work out for us in that instance. So let's jump into finding out how our Jupiter is placed in what Nakshatras of which planets and what it will be manifesting for us. Now when Jupiter goes into the Nakshatras ruled by the Sun ruled Nakshatras are a mix of fire and earth Nakshatras, which means that the Nakshatras are placed in, some part of the Nakshatra is placed in a fire sign and the remaining part of the Nakshatra is placed in the earth sign, and hence when Jupiter gets placed in the Nakshatras of the Sun, the responsibility, the accountability, the leadership qualities will showcase itself, will manifest itself, but also the fiery energy, the go-getting energy, the goal-setting energy will also add to the strength of Jupiter, plus the steadfastness and their ability to be able to work with different environments but dedicated to the goal. So a lot of goal setting with the fire energy and the steadfastness of the earth energies and the leadership resolve of the sun energies will come forth. Now depending on which nakshatra Jupiter goes in, if it goes into the nakshatra of Kritika, where first pada or one pada of Kritika is in the Aries nakshatra or is in the Aries sign and three padas are in the Taurus sign. So yeah, there is a lot of fiery resolve because Aries energies are here, but there is also materialistic approach, which means the person will use a lot of his wisdom and expansion to increase or expand both the fiery resolve, the go-getting spirit, the goal setting with the leadership qualities of the Sun, but also with the materialistic tendencies of Taurus. Will be more materialistic oriented, however will use his wisdom to be able to expand materialistic tendencies rather than going the wrong way. If it gets into Uttara Falguni, where one pada is in Leo and three padas are in Virgo, so here Sun's qualities, being a Sun's nakshatra, yeah, high quality of leadership will showcase itself and high responsibility, accountability also. This can also be a person who is into media and also in certain roles where artistic flavor may also be a part of what he or she wants to do. Because the other three padas are in Virgo, so service orientation with leadership qualities is the quality of this nakshatra of Uttara Falguni. So Jupiter in this nakshatra will add to the fiery resolves of Leo, the leadership qualities, but also the service orientation of Virgo. If it gets into Uttarashada, where one pada is in Sagittarius and three padas are in Capricorn, then here while the sun's qualities will surely be there, but Uttarashada has one pada in Sagittarius, which means Jupiter's strong qualities will also manifest themselves. So this person will be a go-getting person, will be somebody who is very adventurous, will like life, will be fun-loving person, will be a little more outgoing than the others, but also because the three padas are in Capricorn, will be very loyal, very committed and very structured, very disciplined in his approach to how he tries to get his goals resolved, his goals achieved, with the fun-loving adventurism of Sagittarius, the leadership of Sun, but the dedicated, committed, organized effort of Capricorn as well. When Jupiter goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mercury, all the nakshatras ruled by Mercury are in the water signs. So here Jupiter will bring in or enhance its wisdom, its expansion giving ability and its ability to be able to be a guru, to be somebody who is very learned and somebody who can also use the learning, the experiences to achieve results with the wisdom that they achieve, but through the analytical ability of Mercury, but also with the fluidity of water, because all the four padas of each of the three nakshatras of Mercury are in the water sign. So if you are talking about Ashlesha, all the four padas of Ashlesha are in the Cancer sign. And so here when Jupiter goes into the nakshatra of Ashlesha, which all four padas in the Cancer sign. So the moon's energies also get manifested here, apart from Mercury's energies, because they are Mercury ruled nakshatras. So here the person will be somebody who will be very wise, but will be very nurturing, very empathetic, very understanding also, but with the analytical ability of Mercury also. So this person can be somebody who is a very wise counselor in relationship, in medicine, in pharmaceutical, and any caring environment which also requires dedication, commitment, analytical ability, or even with money, finance. This denotation can come about. If Jupiter gets into the nakshatra of Jyeshtha, ruled by Mercury, but in the sign 4 padas are in Scorpio. So here, because there are Scorpio energies and the Jyeshtha energies, so here Jupiter will bring the deep orientation towards those areas that the person will have to research and extract from the underground, and with the analytical ability of Mercury, but the magnetism and the deep high quality of goal getting, killer instinct of Mars, because these Scorpio sign has Mars ruling it, and all the 4 padas are in Scorpio. So here the person will be very, very analytical, but also will be very, very deep analytical oriented, with an approach to be able to extract information, extract all that which has been hidden underground. So this can be a good person in taxation, in audits, in government agencies which are trying to check whether there is any pitfall somewhere, or forensic services, and with the wisdom that Jupiter brings in. So Jupiter expands the forensic abilities, the extraction energies, and the analytical energies of Mercury. When Jupiter goes into the nakshatra of Revati, where all 4 padas are in the Pisces sign, again Pisces sign is ruled by Jupiter itself. So here Jupiter will expand the quality of Mercury, because it is a Mercury ruled nakshatra, and the fluidity which is also brought about by the Pisces sign, the ocean energies, the depth. But because it is a nakshatra ruled by Jupiter itself, so this is a nakshatra of high optimism, high quality of dedicated effort to be also getting spiritual energy, spiritual manifestation, as well as material manifestation. So this can be a person who's even working in foreign lands, in a very analytical environment, in IT, in administration, in government agencies, and even in business, and through that is able to do a lot of service to humanity also. This person can be also large-hearted, who wants to give, who will also do a lot of donations, charities, and will be looking at a high spiritual need also, high spiritual goal also, apart from his materialistic goals. When Jupiter goes into the nakshatras ruled by Venus, all the 3 nakshatras ruled by Venus are in the fire signs. Whether we are talking about Bharani, where all the 4 padas of Bharani are in the Aries sign, but it is a Venus ruled nakshatra, which means the materialistic tendencies, the romanticism, and the high quality of Venus will be coming in, but Jupiter will expand that ability also. So here the person may also be somebody who is very materialistic, but Jupiter expanding that quality, which means that if Jupiter is well placed in this nakshatra, it can give you unlimited wealth and can increase the need for good quality of life, but the person will still be very wise how the person will be able to utilize his material benefits to live a more austere life, in spite of having a lot of money, having a lot of wealth around the person. One thing which this placement of Jupiter in this nakshatra gives is large houses, big bungalows, and living in expansive places, even maybe a bungalow which is on expanse of land and maybe even closer to water. But this is also a placement where Jupiter increases the sexuality of the person because of being in the Bharani nakshatra. If it gets into Purva Falguni, where all 4 padas are in the Leo sign, so here these sun's qualities, because it is the Leo sign, those also come in. The artistic denotation of Leo also comes in, but with also the softer issues, the materialistic issues, and the artistic issues of Venus. So this can be extremely well placed Jupiter, which will enhance the artistic ability of the person because of being the nakshatra placed in the sign of Leo, ruled by Sun, and the nakshatra being ruled by Venus and with the fire energy. So this can be a very good performer, this can be a very good presenter, this can be somebody who will have at least one artistic ability, whether in singing or dancing, in cooking. There will be one competence, artistic competence, which the person will be having. If it's Purvashada, where all 4 padas are placed in the sign of Sagittarius, so here Sagittarius being Jupiter's own sign and Purvashada being a nakshatra where all 4 padas are in Sagittarius but still ruled by Venus, fiery sign. So here the fiery energies of Sagittarius will come in, the fun loving, the adventurism, and the expansive ability to be able to reach out beyond the boundaries, beyond own thinking. So this is a person who is very liberal in his thinking, will be able to accept different kinds of thought processes, different kinds of beliefs without biting an eyelid. Sometimes the person may also get a partner, because it is a Venus ruled nakshatra, from a country or from a ethnicity which may not be from the person's own ethnicity, own belief system also. So Jupiter will expand the romanticism of Venus, the materialistic denotation of Venus, but also the adventurous spirit of Sagittarius, the outgoing spirit of Sagittarius. And this can also be a person who is very liberal in his also philosophical thinking, and will be surrounded by people who will have different kinds of thinking, different approaches to life, and yet be comfortable in any environment that you may put that person in. When Jupiter gets into the nakshatras ruled by moon, all the 3 nakshatras ruled by moon have the earth energies, and each of the nakshatras have all the 4 padas in the earth ruled signs or earth signs, whether it is Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. So here, because it is the moon ruled nakshatra, so the empathetic ability, the understanding ability, the nurturing, the supporting spirit will also come in with the wisdom, expansion that Jupiter brings in, but also the steadfastness of the earth energies. If it gets into the nakshatra of Rohini, where all 4 padas are in the Taurus sign, so here a lot of materialistic achievement may also come in, where the zodiac will allow you to nurture and bring about the best in whatever you do, through education or through your work or through your business or even in relationship. You will be able to achieve a lot, and there will also be a chance to make a lot of material gains also, to enjoy a good livelihood, ever increasing livelihood. And generally for such people, there is not a lack of money, there may be lack of ideas, there may be also phases of ups and downs, but when the zodiac wants to give you, it will give you with a lot of open hands. If it gets into the nakshatra of Hasta, where all 4 padas are in the sign of Virgo, this can be a person who can also be connected to the medical field or the serving field. In some way or the other, the person will be attached to some serving industry, because it is the nakshatra ruled by moon and it is all the 4 padas are in the sign of Virgo. So such a person will be somebody who will also be very empathetic to others, so has healing ability or problem solving ability. Either of the two will be there in the person, but will also approach the responsibilities with a lot of understanding, with a lot of supportive energies, with a lot of nourishing energies, and will not let down a person even in the most tough situations. So this is the person who will stand by the project, the team, the work that they do, and will be either a healer par supreme or a problem solver par supreme. When it gets into the nakshatra of Shravana, where all 4 padas are in the sign of Capricorn, so here the moon nakshatra energies come in, where the person will still be very supportive, very nourishing, very apathetic, but also the service orientation and the loyalty, the commitment, the organized spirit of the Capricorn energy. So this will be a person who is very practical, very logical, will be also a little bit more diplomatic, while still being nurturing, while still be very empathetic, and Jupiter will expand that ability. So one of the most hardworking people who will spend hours together to be able to either support their work, to support their team members, to support their bosses, and will put in the long hard hours before they climb to the top through sheer energy, perseverance and patience. When Jupiter gets into the Mars ruled nakshatras, these nakshatras have 2 padas in the air signs and 2 padas in the earth signs. So it's a mixed sign energy, where earth energies and air energies together give the denotation to the nakshatra. So Mars ruled energies, because they are all Mars ruled nakshatras, so Jupiter expands the energy to be able to go and get what the goals they want to achieve. But at the same time, this will also be somebody who may rush into challenges, rush into opportunities, rush into responsibilities also, only to sometime later think that am I really able to handle this. So now the different denotation may be given, or the flavor may be given depending on which nakshatra it gets into. If it gets into Mrigashira, where 2 padas are in Taurus, 2 padas are in Gemini, then this is a very materialistic approach to life, go-getting approach, because it is the Mars energies. So this person will be very dedicated, very focused to earn money, but at the same time there will be some part which will be associated with communication skills, influencing skills, branding skills, and even marketing skills. So this is a person who will be a go-getting spirit, will use the ability to be able to influence people with his wisdom, with the ability of Jupiter to expand, and the nurturing spirit and the go-getting spirit of Mars combined with the Taurus and the Gemini energies of materialistic tendencies as well as the communication ability. So this can be a marketing person, par supreme, a media person, or social media person, a good YouTuber who through sheer energy, enthusiasm and communication skills achieve something out of the ordinary. If it is Chitra Nakshatra, the 2 padas are in the sign of Virgo and 2 padas are in the sign of Libra, then this is the person who has a lot of energy, a go-getting energy to be able to do service, serving others, but with the relationship orientation, the connections, the synergy which the Libra energy brings in. So this is a good balance where the person wants to serve but keeping the connections, keeping the synergy between two people or between teams. So a person who is extremely team person, extremely family oriented person, but will stand and defend the team and the family to the hilt, will fight for the family, will fight for the team, will fight for the project, and will give heart and soul to the job that they need to do, but keeping the relationship intact. If it's the Dhanishta Nakshatra, where 2 padas are in Capricorn and 2 padas are in Aquarius, so yeah, the person has a lot of strong Martian energies, because Mars is very, very strongly oriented in the Dhanishta Nakshatra with a lot of extra energies. So yeah, 2 padas in Capricorn means extremely high organized focus energies, and a person who will want to do something for the masses. This is an energy which can make somebody a big celebrity, somebody who will be very well known, somebody who may be held aloft by the masses as somebody who is a server supreme, as a leader supreme, maybe even a very spiritual person and a guru par excellence. So very strong dedicated effort doing something for the masses with the Martian energy, but with the wisdom and the expansion energies of Jupiter. When Jupiter goes into the nakshatra ruled by itself, here the energies are of air and water energies, but these are predominantly air energies, because 3 padas of every nakshatra in which Jupiter gets into own nakshatras, these are air energies, and only 1 pada is water energy. So here, because Jupiter is going into its own nakshatra, it's a supreme expansion, high degree of learning ability. So these people are somebody who will be experts, extremely competent people, very, very well read person, will be very well known in their circle as somebody who is an expert in their field. If it gets into Purvarvasu, where 3 padas are in Gemini and 1 pada is in Cancer, so somebody who has a lot of wisdom, but also is able to speak very eloquently, to be able to influence others with the eloquence and with the wisdom, but also with the empathetic nature, with the nurturing spirit of Cancer. If it's the Vishakha Nakshatra, where 3 padas are in Libra and 1 pada is in Scorpio, so this is a person who will expand the relationship orientation of Libra, somebody who will like to work with teams, who will also be very close to their spouse, will also be able to get out of trouble that Scorpio pada will bring in, but with this relationship orientation. So this is a person who will be using their relationship to be able to get out of challenges, get out of issues, but also be able to expand the ability to create synergies, create relationship, and through that get work done. So this is the person who is very well learned, but also somebody who is very well connected. If it's the Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, where 3 padas are in Aquarius and 1 pada is in Pisces, so this is a person who will be somebody who will want to do more for the masses. This is surely a person who will either has a big social connect, will be a more extrovert person, even if the person is not extrovert, this person will have a lot of connections. A lot of people may like this person, will want to be associated with this person. So there will be a lot of people who will want to get close to the person, want to be friends with this person. But also this is a person who will bring in a lot of optimistic energies to do something for the masses. Ever an optimistic person, but ever wanting to do something at a higher level, at even spiritual level, and want to give back to society. So extremely spiritual energies, wanting to do more for the masses, but with also the high optimism and high idealism of the Pisces nakshatra. When Jupiter gets into the nakshatras ruled by Saturn, all the three Saturn ruled nakshatras have the water sign energies. So here the high dedication, patience, perseverance of Saturn comes in, but with a high fluidity and the energy to be very flexible, which the water sign energies bring in. So when it gets into the nakshatra of Pushya, where all four padas of Pushya are in the Cancer sign. So this is an extremely expansive energy, an extremely materialistic energy, extremely bounty giving energy, but with the patience and perseverance and hard work done over a period of time, because this is the Saturn ruled nakshatra. If it's the Anuradha nakshatra, where all four padas are in the Scorpio sign, so this is a person who will be able to dedicate his energies to do a lot of research, to learn this mysteries of life, mysteries of certain areas. So whichever area they are getting into, whether into occult or into taxation or into mysticism or maybe into filmmaking or into banking, whichever industry they get into, they will have a deep analysis of going down right to the bottom to be able to extricate the information and then use that, expand the ability to be able to then deliver results with the Saturn energies will bring in. If it's the Uttara Bhadrapada nakshatra, where all four padas are in the Pisces sign, so here the Saturnian energies of organized effort, commitment, loyalty will also come in, but with the high optimism and idealism of the Pisces sign. So this is a person who will work very, very hard, thinking that I am doing something which is very good for the society, and if I do enough for the society, I will be able to see the change, even a small change. And so sometimes give the entire life to be able to bring about the change. Tries to bring about the change in his department, in his family, and his own life also. And one of the most optimistic people, one of the most idealistic people also, but people who are sometimes taken for granted by the community in which they are born, in which they are raised. If Jupiter gets into the nakshatras ruled by Rahu, all the three nakshatras ruled by Rahu have the air energies, which means they are all placed in the air signs. So firstly, Rahu is the energy of explosion, where Jupiter is the energy of expansion. So when expansion and explosion come together, this can be a huge explosion and expansion at the same time. But because this is an air rule energy, so air energy, this is also very relationship oriented, societal oriented energies, which means the person will also have a hunger and greed to be able to achieve results, but also through social connections, but also through relations, and also through those synergies they establish with people. So if it goes into the nakshatra of Ardra, where all four padas are in the Gemini sign, so this is a person who is very, very eloquent, somebody who can speak very, very well and who can easily influence people, very, very creative, out of the box energies, to be able to convince others, to be able to market and brand themselves through very unusual ideas, but with the wisdom that Jupiter brings in. So sometimes this can bring in a clash between the Rahu and the Jupiter energies, because Gemini is also dual sign and the nakshatra is in the Gemini sign. So this person can also sometimes maybe thinking that should I do this or not, may come across a little bit confused also, but still extremely convincing ability for them, and will be able to get a lot of things done and material achievement through sheer power of communication and eloquence. If it gets into the nakshatra Swati, where all four padas are in the sign of Libra, so extremely relationship oriented, but there is also a degree of selfishness, because here Rahu energies are involved. So this is a person who will be creating energies of getting connected to people, establishing partnership, establishing relationship, but also with one high degree of expansion and the wisdom that Jupiter brings in, but also the hunger and greed to achieve that Rahu brings in. So this is a person who will want to do more for others, but also looking for what do I get out of the equation. So this is a person who will be looking at balance, how much I do for others and how much I get. So if this person feels that I am able to get at least 40 to 45% of what I am giving out to others, so it's almost a close 50% division of the goodies, then the person will wholeheartedly do for family, do for team, and for the organization. If Jupiter gets into the nakshatra of Satyabhisha, where all 4 padas are in the sign of Aquarius. So here the Rahu energies are double fold, because Satabisha is a very strong Rahu energies, more energies even than Adra, for example. But this is a very good energy of wanting to do for the masses, because your Aquarius sign in the 11th house energies are involved. So this is a person who can be a guru, even a spiritual guru, but who also likes to get his own pound of flesh. So this is a very suave, smart guru who knows the tricks and the trades of how to reach out to people, how to communicate with people, how to deal with masses, so that whatever his intention is, even for the masses, the person is able to bring about with more tact, more diplomacy, and with the hunger and greed of Rahu. If Jupiter gets into the nakshatras ruled by Ketu, all the 3 nakshatras ruled by Ketu have the fire sign energies. So here Ketu is a detachment oriented planet, alienation of energies from Ketu, or moving you away from whatever the denotation of the house that it is placed in, the sign that it is placed in. So when Jupiter gets into the nakshatras ruled by Ketu, here the person is extremely wise, and very little materialism rules the mind. So this is a person who wants to do more for others, for family, for department, for team, for organization, and very seldom does the person get back his own fruits of labor. So this is an energy of maximum giving and least getting. If it gets into the nakshatra of Ashwini, this is a healer supreme. So this is a person who wants to heal others, who want to solve other people's problems, but able to get very less. So this is a person who is always running around to do something for others, even at the cost of not getting enough for self. If it gets into the nakshatra of Magha, where all 4 padas are in the Leo sign, so this is the leader who wants to do extremely high give back to others, or pay back to others, or contribution to others, and very less for self. So leadership orientation with very high degree of self-sacrifice also. So we'll take high responsibilities, high accountability, even when knowing that I may not get much out of it, I may even not get much credit out of it, I may not get much acknowledgement out of it. Yet because the wisdom of Jupiter is there, the giving of energies of Ketu is there, and the leadership orientation of Leo is there. So this is one of the most productive, most expansive energy of somebody who will give the most to society, maybe getting the least recognition in return. If it's into the nakshatra of Mula, where all 4 padas are in Sagittarius, Sagittarius sign has Jupiter energy. So here double energies of Jupiter and the detachment of Ketu. But the high degree of fun, adventurism, risk-taking ability to be extremely liberal also will come in. So this is a person who is very detached from religion, but very attached to spirituality. Will be thinking very philosophically, will be thinking very liberally, and will also be able to connect with people with different thought process because of the Sagittarius energies. Will have a sense of humor, will also be very witty in how they put across, and sometimes in speaking less, in very few words will be able to say a lot and with very deep meaning. So these can be gurus who are those who may be acknowledged to the extreme, but extremely giving gurus, but fun loving gurus, witty gurus, somebody who will be able to give most to the society while being able to get the least for themselves, but somebody who will be remembered for their power of communication, for their fun, wittiness, and the ability to be able to say a lot with very few words. So friends, now that we have discussed about when Jupiter gets placed into the nakshatras of different planets, what are the manifestations, what are the denotations, please do look into in which nakshatra your Jupiter is placed, whether there are any doshas, yogas, aspects, conjunctions on them, because those will also bring in their own flavors. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.